Welcome back, and as we earlier mentioned that our first stop in the breakfast show is going to be a deep look or a thorough look over the latest visit of the head of state, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, the Asian tour. Visit included stops at UAE, Bahrain and India, or UAE, India and Bahrain. It was a very important visit, and it came within the context of continuous bilateral relationship and consultations and coordination between Egypt and those Asian countries. Of course, there is a lot to be said about each and every country of those very important three stops. We're very delighted to have with us Dr. Helmi El Hadidi, President, APSO, African Asian People's Solidarity. Good morning, Dr. El Hadidi.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Hadidi. First, before we discuss the visit of President Fattah el-Sisi to United Arab Emirates, Bahrain and India, first give us an idea about the APSO, or the African Asian People's Solidarity Organization.
Yes, this organization has been established at the time of President Nasser in 1958 as an offspring of Bandung Conference. The aim is to help cooperation and solidarity between the peoples of Asia and Africa.
Yes.
At that time, there are many countries in Africa that was occupied by a foreign power, and their fight was very great at that time for liberation of these countries. So that was the first and the essential part played by the organization at that time. It hosted, helped the heroes and the fighters in Africa and in Asia at that time. It continued to do its job through political and popular people's cooperation, meetings, conferences, seminars, all the way until today. It comprises, as a matter of fact, about 90 countries of Asia and Africa.
It's located here in Cairo.
The headquarters is in Cairo, and the president should be an Egyptian, elected by the Egyptian committee. The organization works on the basis of each country has got an organization called the Committee of Solidarity, and together they make the organization, which is centered here in Cairo.
Yes.
Right, Dr. El Hadidi, let's go to the first stop by President Sisi. It's UAE, I believe. It was UAE. How do you assess the visit in light of what's happening inside the region? UAE is one of the most important Gulf countries among the group, and there must be some consequences out of that important visit concerning the crisis in Syria and the crisis in Iraq and everything, and the economic relations. How do you assess?
First of all, any visit and contact with any country outside Egypt is very important.
Right.
And this strengthens the diplomatic relations, strengthens the cooperation and the solidarity between these two countries. The UAE is a very important country. It plays a very important role in the Middle East. It's one of the richest countries in the Middle East as well. The Middle East has been the seat of what has been known as the Arab Spring, which resulted in disruption of many countries, governments, Syria, Yemen, Libya, Tunisia, and Egypt. Things have been working very well for Egypt, but it didn't work well for countries like Syria, Yemen, Libya, which are still suffering from what we call the chaos after the revolutions, you see. So we have a problem in Syria, we have a problem in Iraq, we have a problem in Libya, we have a problem in Yemen as well. Together, we have two important neighbors. One is Iran and the other is Turkey. Each one of them is trying to have a piece of the cake of the Middle East.
That's true.
In a way or another. Yeah. So, meeting the heads of these countries in UAE or in other countries in the Arab world is very important to have formulate a strategy or a plan for working together to save these countries from division and from breaking down, as a matter of fact. So it is an important visit. And I think the policy that is being taken by the President, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, of making these tours, which has been quite a number of them, to establish the Egyptian presence in the foreign diplomacy and the foreign countries is very important. After a long period of abstaining from having a role in the political arena in the world, so I think it is very important. And it should be repeatedly done to maintain a unified plan for working together to save what can be saved in the countries I mentioned, especially in Syria. Syria is a very important country. Yemen is very important because it lies on the outlet of the Red Sea. And we have interest in the Red Sea, very great interest in the Red Sea. So we need stability in these countries. We need security in these countries. We need a government that is strong enough to maintain the independence of these countries.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, sir. After President Fattah al-Sisi wrapped up his visit to UAE, he headed to the Indian capital, New Delhi, and he attended the third Indian-African Forum. What is the significance of attending this forum and the importance of the visit? It
has a great significance.
Yes.
And for me, as a worker on the Asian and
Indian
African arena, I think it is very important. Nowadays, we are talking about South cooperation.
Yes.
And China has taken a great step by starting with Africa and helping many countries in Africa. Now India is doing almost the same thing, and we really welcome these big countries, China, India, who have been a little bit more in advance in technology and in economy and in...
Are they really investing in Africa or exploiting its resources?
No, they are investing.
Investing. Yeah.
And no way there is a place for exploitation.
Yes.
The people of Africa would never accept that.
Yes.
And we have fought a long war against exploitation and occupation and that sort of thing. So they won't allow it. And secondly, China and India have been developing countries like us.
Yes.
They had worked their way a little bit higher up before any other. Their economy is much better, and their technological standards are much better. So, from the principle of South-to-South cooperation, this works very well. Instead of being under the influence of the North, Europe and the States,
Yes.
They work for their own benefits.
Yes.
They intend to exploit our countries. So we have to work together, South-South cooperation, South-South dialogue, South-South assistance, South-South in all ways. It is much better to work, I mean, the poor people work together. They help each other, much better than being slaves for the bigger countries and
Yes.
the more advanced countries.
Right. Dr. Hadidi, let's remain with the, with India as an important
Yes.
stop. There is a technological revolution, and India is one of the top economic powers in the world, and there is and the leading country in democracy. I mean, there are lots of lessons to be learned from a country like India. What particular highlights were registered during that visit of the head of state, and experiences that could be borrowed during this stage Egypt is going through, you think?
I'd like to say that a short visit wouldn't get, it just opens and paves the way for more cooperation, for more understanding, for more friendship. India has been a friend of Egypt for a long, long time. India, at the time of Nehru and Nasser and all this, created what I call our organization. They shared a lot of things, and we continue by this visit of His Excellency, His Highness, President Sisi, going to India for a few days and for working for Africa as well, you know, is a very important thing in what I call South-South cooperation. India has advanced a lot in technology, in software affairs, in democracy, in economy. So we, in a few days visit, we just open the paths, the ways to have more cooperation between Egypt and India and Africa as well. I think this is a very important visit. It should be maintained. It should be followed up by the experts, by the government, by the political and the diplomatic bodies in Egypt. That's...
Also, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, during his visit, called on his African and Indian partners to come and invest in the new Suez Canal Development Project. So, do you think that they are really interested in investing in this project, and what kind of investments can attract them?
Well, India, you know, it was a country of famine many years. Changed that into a country of surplus. It has more of food and more of anything else. And they are very well advanced in technology. And this we can make benefit out of it. We can share together their experience in changing the attitude from famine to surplus.
Yes.
That's important, and we need that at the moment. Second, we need technology, higher technology, and they can offer it. not only for us. Sisi was not going just for Egypt. He was going for Egypt and for Africa as well.
As Egypt won the non-permanent seat in the UN recently.
Yeah, that was very important too.
Yeah.
Because it gives us the kind of prestige we needed. It gives us a kind of a strong voice for Africa.
Yes.
We are talking for Africa as well.
Yes.
In this seat is the seat of Africa, North Africa in particular.
Yes.
So we are representing North Africa. We are representing Africa. And in this meeting in New Delhi, it was for India and Africa. And it is very important to maintain that again by diplomatic and business people, and by all means to maintain, to continue, and to increase these relations in the future.
One of the expected opportunities or the hopes by Egyptians is that India could be a good partner for Egypt in the field of renewable energy. So how do you expect that, and if there could be some chances, do you think this is going to work?
You see, Egypt is hungry for energy, for all kinds of sources, and we are not very rich in oil. We are not having a lot of raw material for energy, except the sun. And India is very good in this. And I think this is very important to have joint efforts to use the sun as a source of energy in Egypt. That's one thing. Second, they have a lot of experience in atomic power for energy and for peaceful uses. So we can make use of that. It is true that we have contacted many other countries for that. And the number of countries, the more the number is, the more we gain a better contract, a better deal with in our needs for energy. I think any contact with any country that can give us either knowledge, technology, or financial support is very important. India is one of those countries. So I think we need more and more of these visits to help our economy and to help our needs for energy and to help our needs for higher technology, for agriculture, for all sorts of requirements, you know.
Okay, Doctor, one final question is that President Fattah al-Sisi is heading tomorrow to the United Kingdom. So we want to shed light on the importance of this visit, the topics expected to be discussed, and Egypt's keenness to enhance cooperation with the European countries.
I think my point of view with this is the very important visit.
Yes.
A real important one. Because I consider this the first real visit to the West.
Yes.
We have...
It's a leading country, of course, the United Kingdom. It's a leading country, one of the leading countries in Europe. I mean,
it's a leading in politics, a leading in economy, and a leading in history as well.
Yes.
So I think this is the first real contact with the West.
Yes.
And that makes it very important.
Yes.
Second, you know, England, owing to the belief in democratic rules for everybody, has given a chance to Muslim brothers to live there and enjoy a good and a happy stay, which is against our needs at the moment. We are suffering from terrorism,
Yes.
and England is very important in that respect.
Yes.
They have changed their policies a little bit, and we expect them to stand by us. We expect them to stand by the Egyptians in their strive for a better future, a better, secure future, and to help us against, in our war against terrorism.
Yes.
Thirdly, as I said, it is the key for the Western countries. A very central country,
Yes.
England. And to approach, to discuss our problems together is very essential and very important. Fourthly, England historically has been very interested in the Middle East, had occupied most of the countries in the Middle East
Yes.
for a long time. So they understand a lot about the Middle East. And we need to have a sort of unified, not even unified, an agreement, a sort of kind of unified vision
Yes.
about how to deal with the problems of the Middle East. The Syrian situation, for example, the Libyan situation, and the Yemeni situation are very critical, and we need to have a sort of a conform opinion with England, because this helps to a political, a peaceful solution for these problems. That's very important, yes.
Okay, Dr. Helmi El Hadidi, President of APSO, or African Asian People Solidarity Organizations, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And now our dear viewers will go for a short break, and then we'll resume the breakfast show, so stay tuned.